alleged sheriff of Kern County. Look up Lords of Bakersfield and Witch Hunt with Sean Penn. Dear Donny Youngblood, this bill is an offer to resolve your debt, privately and peacefully without legal action. You are in default of my de jure notice of public status. Quote, unquote. Related sections highlighted for your easy reference. Here are some reminders and updates. In September of 2008, you were served with my notice of public status, which states, acting as, and in the best interest of a child of my Creator, I hereby declare that I am a sovereign woman, free and independent of any corporate, federal, state, local, or foreign governments, subject to no man, woman, person, or entity, and servant only to my Creator, and sister to all who wish to live in peace. And, ... Send to me an official document containing instructions to any corporate governmental agents that I may encounter, not to detain, harass, or impede me for any reason without a sworn warrant, which must be accompanied with a sworn affidavit, stating a claim upon which relief can be granted and bonded for the amount of the claim. Failure to do so will result in your acquiescence and agreement. In October of 2009, you were lawfully served with default and offer to cure, claim of right, notice and demand, and orders to cease and desist, which state, notice to agent is notice to principal, and notice to principal is notice to agent. Said notices, which were received by you around September 10, 2008, and around January 1st, 2010, stated, I hereby revoke and deny my consent, whether implicit, implied, presumed, or otherwise, to be subject to any statutory rule, regulation, code, ordinance, bylaw, act, resolution, executive order, treaty, adhesion, contract, or any other attempt to legislate, dictate, mandate, or decree any requirement or restriction upon my life, liberty, pursuit of happiness, or any other right or duty which is mine. Any agent of any corporate government entity while acting in that capacity who detains me without a valid cause of action and a claim supported by oath or affirmation under penalty of perjury after having been served this notice will be assessed a fee of $1,000 of silver for every hour or portion thereof that I am detained against my will. You have been given 3 opportunities to respond when in fact you remain silent and fail to dispute, or respond when you have a duty to speak, thus acquiescing to said notices as being true and correct in fact and fully set forth as a matter of law. On or about January 2010, you were served with my final notice of default, which states, quote, the failure of the addressees, or any of them to respond as demanded, and to rebut specifically and with particularity everything set forth in this notice, with which said addressees or any of them disagrees, will constitute their lawful, legal, and binding agreement, with an admission to the fact that everything set forth in this notice is true, correct, legal, lawful, and fully binding upon said addressees, and any and all of them in any and every court in the artificial political entity, United States of America, without protest or objection of those addressees and each and any of them or those who represent the said addressees or any of them. And use of them for any purpose by any corporate entity is strictly prohibited without my express written permission and fee paid. And you will be billed according to my fee schedule as outlined in my said notice of status for any violations. Any agent of any corporate entity which uses any of my appellations or causes any of them to appear on any document in any form of capitis maximus, media, minimus, or otherwise depicted in association with myself without my express written permission, after having been served this notice will be assessed a fee per instance of $1,000 of lawful silver coin or the market value of the instrument in silver, whichever is greater. C. Hills versus GMAC et al. Notice of unlawful use of fictitious, false, or assumed name title. Case number 1500 CV 2655552, filed on April 4, 2009 in the Kern County Superior Court. And $10,000 for terrorist threats on March 30th, 2010. The 2 alleged Kern County Sheriff's deputies who unlawfully accompanied 3 bail enforcement agents made terrorist threats to me after breaking into my private home, and they made threats to my roommate, Alan. They caused him and myself to fear for our lives and to flee our home to seek refuge. And we also have vandalism, again, March 30th. The agents pried the lock screen on my window, dented my front door by banging with a metal object. The pried open the locked back door and pried into my private security camera casing. Okay, after the alleged officers left my home at approximately 6:45 on March 30th, 2010, some of these same men, along with some different men, went to Alan David's father's home about a mile from my house, where they approached Alan at gunpoint and threatened his life. They also threatened to come back and falsely imprison Alan, and one of the men said he would fabricate drug charges on Alan and have him murdered in prison by gangs, thus threatening not only Alan's life and safety, but also threatening the home, my home. The man who made these threats is the man seen on the footage, on the videos of them breaking in on my security camera, the man who put his hand over the camera. If you can call him a man. His identity is still unknown to us, and he's a threat to the public. Okay. I received multiple death threats on the internet since the release of my video of this incident on the local news. Which is all over the news on every station for a solid week. It was a top story. Everywhere. About 1 million people viewed my footage on the internet of the police brutality in Kern County that was perpetrated on different people on different occasions, just during their visits at my home. And see the attached following copies of certified mail return receipts, proofs of service, letter from Donny Youngblood, alleged sheriff regarding ICE. I think it was in my letter to ICE, my notices to ICE. Letter from Donny Youngblood depicting fictitious name, addresses, 2 separate eviction notices posted by Kern County Sheriff's Department, security, camera footage, depicting alleged Kern County deputies trespassing on 4 separate occasions, security camera footage and handheld camcorder footage depicting alleged Kern County deputies breaking into my home and threatening me on March 30th, 2010. And then failure to settle this debt within 15 days of receipt will be cause to initiate civil and criminal action against you, imposing fines, liens, and possibly imprisonment. Please send payment to me, star, temporary mailing location, care of General Post near Pond, California, in brackets, all in brackets. Non-domestic without D-U-S. Put a 2-cent stamp on it, send it to me. That's to the alleged sheriff in Kern County. Threatens to arrest you. It's a kidnapping. It's an assault. And because he has a gun or other possibly lethal weapons on him, it's an aggravated assault or an aggravated kidnapping if he does indeed arrest you, allegedly arrest you. Unless you've committed a crime. Unless you've committed a crime. That's the bottom line. If you have committed a crime, I'm not talking to you.